G'day guys. So as promised, and apologies again for Monday, feeling much better today. As promised, got a very, very good friend of mine and very special guest for us here today who, guys, believe it or not, for those of you that I know tuning in today, for those of you watching the recording, actually started in the same place that you did. He's now a very prominent figure here in the health and fitness space on the Gold Coast, probably more so than the Gold Coast, obviously having spent some time in Sydney. He is a wealth of knowledge, and we're going to pick his brains today because I know we've had a well, and it'll take a while. I know he's very humble. It will take a while to pick all of his brains, but I know and acknowledge so many of you, we've had such a great new wave of new trainers into the PLC studios over the last couple of weeks that I thought, what a great time to bring in my good buddy, Clinton Williams. Thanks for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Bo, and to all the listeners out there, thanks for having me on your call.
No, it's our absolute pleasure, buddy. Now, as we've sort of said in our intro, look, we've had a great new wave of trainers through the PLC studios, and giving you a bit of a rundown before we got started as to just how they're set up and what the guys are contending with. But before we go into that, because I know you'll have some great tips of advice for them, and we'll get to that later in our little chat today. Yep. What made you become a PT?
My mum.
Wow.
Believe it or not, yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah, look, my mother's always been my inspiration. You know what I mean? And may she rest in peace now. But I guess, and this is where I asked Bo before everyone came on the call, like, what's the age, difference here on the call? So I guess for me personally, I've always been active. When I was younger, I played a lot of rugby league in Sydney. Was very involved in athletics as well. Was very good and fast at sprinting in 100 meters and 200 meters especially. Did okay in the long jump, but the 100 meters and 200 was more my specialty. So started lifting up weights and getting a real interest in, I guess, the gym environment when just after I turned 17, and that was purely because everybody who I was playing with and playing against were getting a lot bigger than me. So I guess that's when I thought, well, I need to put on some meat on this skinny South African frame of mine, and stop getting knocked around so much. You know what I mean? Because I was too busy running away from everybody. But anyway, moving along, I stopped playing football when I was 20, and then really got stuck into, I guess, the gym environment. Started hanging around with a lot of bodybuilders, and I guess that's where I started doing my personal apprenticeship through weight training and strength training, and really building muscle as well. Fast track that, like I worked in the corporate industry as well, did a lot of recruitment, worked in warehousing and logistics. And then I guess you could say back in 2010, I, speaking with my mother, and I did my PT course, Cert 3 and Cert 4, back in 2007. So basically just had my certificate sitting in my wardrobe. I was training with friends, having friends train with me on a casual basis, but never took it seriously. And then, like I said, back in 2010, I was going through that middle 30s period, and having big chats with my mother, and she basically turned around and said to me, go and be a PT. She said, you've always enjoyed helping people. You enjoy being in the gym. Go and be a PT. So I did. I bit the bullet.
Yep. And
went and did my. I guess I started working for a company called Vision Personal Training back in Sydney. Not sure if you guys have heard of them, but they were at the time the #1 personal training studio throughout Australia. I'm not sure where they rank at the moment, but
they're still there.
So they're still there. There we go.
Still there.
So I started working
as purely PT. Yeah, they're still there.
Purely PT. Yeah. So I went and worked for Vision. Went for an interview with Fitness First as well, but I didn't like their business model, and it just didn't, I guess, resound with me personally. And what I loved about Vision was the fact that I could, obviously become a PT, grow as a PT, then, eventuate into being a studio owner or studio manager, studio owner. And I guess for me, I've always been about growth. Even 10 years down the track now, like I'm still a student of this industry. Do you know what I mean? So I like the fact that I was able to, develop myself as a PT and then grow myself after that into the next level. And so, started with Vision. I was there with them for 6.5 years. Went through 3 studios. First one I became, I guess, an assistant manager, and then I moved into my next studio and I was there as a studio manager. And then I guess it was sort of the time then where I was, like I got back into bodybuilding because, like I've done a few bodybuilding comps as well. Did my first one back in 2003. Then I decided to step back on stage in 2012. So 2 years after being as a full-time PT, got back on stage, and then all of a sudden I got the bug back. Do you know what I mean? But not only did I get the bug back, I also got I guess, I'm not sure what your backgrounds are, like if you're runners or strength trainers or swimmers or whatever, and whatever you do in this industry. But I guess for me, I've always enjoyed the world of bodybuilding, and I guess vision, like with vision, and for those who are not sure about the vision concept, like it's more focused on weight loss, and they've got their programs, structured programs with nutrition, with training, etc., which is a great concept. But I guess for me, I was starting to mold back into what my background was. Do you know what I mean? So then I left Vision in 2015 purely, and I came to the Gold Coast purely because like my mother was battling cancer, and so I made a big decision to leave Sydney after living there for 30 odd years to the Gold Coast, leaving my two teenage kids behind as well. But I wasn't with their mother anyway. But came to the Gold Coast to be closer to her. Not just to be closer, but also to start my own PT business. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, Vision gave me the foundation of, the knowledge that I needed, not just to be a PT, but also to grow into having my own business as well, So I came to the Gold Coast. 3 weeks after I arrived, my mother passed away. Then I had to make the big decision, either A, go back to Sydney, or B, do what my other intention was, and that was to become obviously start my own business. And so I spoke to my kids, and they said, "Look, whatever makes you happy, we'll back it up." So I said, "Give me 12 months. If things don't work out, my business doesn't grow, then I'll definitely come back to Sydney." And that was January 2016 when I had the chat with him, and now we're sitting in.
And he's still here.
Now I'm sitting. What are we now? October 2018, and I'm still on the Gold Coast. Obviously, things went really well for me. I dare say better than expected. A lot of things that happened in the last 2.5 years. Not only has my business grown from being a belly-to-belly trainer, but also online as well, which is obviously what I'm doing a lot with Bo now to help expand that side of my business. Mm-hmm. But it's been a journey and a half, and it's only just begun. That excites me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. And obviously, so funnily enough, Clinton and I started in the industry very, very similar time.
Yep.
How did you find the industry then to obviously how it's evolved now? What were some of the big differences back then?
Okay. You need to break that question down because I can answer this in so many different ways.
I thought you might.
Yeah. In terms of what?
Okay. So in terms of, in terms of why people were getting into the health and fitness industry.
Yep. There's a need for it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a need for, I guess I'm speaking to all fitness professionals here. You know what I mean? There's a need for us worldwide. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure if a lot of you guys, you may know this, you may not know this, but since the 1980s, we've become a fatter and an unhealthier global society. Do you know what I mean? And that's purely because obviously the lifestyles, people are getting busier. If you've got clients who are in the corporate industry, there's a lot of challenges for them. Do you know what I mean? So, and a lot of health challenges, do you know what I mean? Because they're just so focused on getting their careers done and living this busy lifestyle that they seem to put their health last. That's the majority of them. Do you know what I mean? So,
yep.
So there's a big need for us in worldwide. It's almost like we're the mechanics to help them, improve their health. It's almost like taking your car to a mechanic. It breaks down. You got to get it fixed. Yes. That's what we're here. We're here to serve them.
Yeah, great advice. Great advice. How do you think the industry's changed in terms of what people are wanting? How do you think the industry's changed in turn? Do you think their wants have changed?
People always want to be healthier, Bo. Do you know what I mean? People always want to, have a lifestyle of abundance, whether it's whatever your lifestyle is, you know what I mean? But there's always changes, you know, and the thing is, as our world evolves, so does our need for and our education for health and wellness. And I find that, and I guess, you know, a lot of you that are probably listening to this call have only been in this industry for a year, 2 years, maybe a few months. I don't know. But I guess for Bo and myself, like we've been in this for, you know, a decade, but that's only on a full-time basis. But I guess from what I've seen over, you know, the last 20, 25 years since coming into the industry, you know what I mean, and being involved in it, you know, like it's constantly changing. And what we need to understand as fitness professionals that we need to change with the world as the world's evolving. Do you know what I mean? Like whether it's nutrition, whether it's exercises, there's always something new coming up. Do you know what I mean? And yes, look, I get that we still have to stick to the basics because the basics, that's the basic fundamentals that's going to get us from, you know, point A to point B. But there's so many different concepts and different scenarios and different methods of exercise and eating and lifestyle coming out that we just need to keep up with what's going on. Whether you change or not, that's entirely up to you. Do you know what I mean? Like you're in control of your own destiny and your own business and how you model yourself as a fitness professional. But just understand that, you know, you need to keep up with what's happening around you as well.
It's a great call. It really is. I mean, very much an adapt or die philosophy. Very much.
And I say that because you know, like if anybody knew me even 3 years ago, I was a very arrogant PT. Do you know what I mean? Like I thought my shit didn't stink half the time, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Because I was very good at what I was doing at Vision. So obviously with my body transformation that I was doing with my clients, I was very successful in what I was doing. So I thought that what I was doing was amazing. Do you know what I mean? That being said, like I've always, like I said, you know, like I've always done my apprenticeship through, you know, the bodybuilding industry, through different, you know, trainers and coaches. So I've always learned, but I was never, you know, like, was I evolving? Yes. But was I very also narrow-minded at the same time? Yes.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
no, very much
so I wasn't evolving as much as what, like in the last 2.5 years, and you've known this, Bo, like the person who I am today is not I guess you could say like I've opened my mind up to so many different things.
Yeah.
From, I guess, being on my own, I'm running my own business as opposed to what I was doing with Vision. Do you know what I mean? Vision was very, you know, like set for you. So you just had to follow their structures, their concepts, and it was made easy for you. Now that I'm on my own, you know, like it's like I need to build my own foundation and funnels.
And let's talk about that now, mate, because look, there are some young trainers here just starting out on the coast and obviously in some of the different facilities. So where are you now? What are you doing? How's it going? And feel free to fill the guys in, and then we'll talk about some more of those key lessons because there's been some nuggets of gold already for the guys. So thank you.
Yes. So thanks. So obviously, you know, as athletes, you know, we always have coaches. You know, I mean, like when I was competing in bodybuilding, I had a coach, even though I knew all about training and I knew a lot about nutrition, but it just made life easier for me that having someone to one, be accountable to, having someone who, you know, comes with different ideas and their own methods, and you can just obviously work together. Do you know what I mean? So I guess one of the things that's really helped me, especially in the last few months, is having, you know, like a coach or a mentor to help me grow my business. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, you can be this PT or this health professional, whatever you are. And, you know what I mean? And you can, if you're someone who loves your own way and you love doing things your way, that's okay. Do you know what I mean? But I guess I speak for myself personally. Like I've just noticed that for me in my business, you know, like over the last few months since obviously working with yourself, you know, like it's just helped me, you know, get ideas from different eyes and different, you know, and obviously from yourself, and obviously put these ideas together. You know what I mean? Like I know that when we have our chats, like we just brainstorm each other. You know what I mean? And I go out and I funnel that into my business. You know what I mean? And it works effectively. So having a coach for me has been wonders. Do you know what I mean? You asked how my business has changed or how grown in the last 2.5 years. Well, I guess what I did was I put my ego into my pocket. You know what I mean? And I opened up my narrow mind to big opportunities.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I'm actually in the process of, you know, becoming a certified nutritionist because, you know, in these in today's world, you need a bit of paper to say that, yes, you can do this and yes, you can do that. You know what I mean? So even though I've been involved with nutrition freaking since I was born, because let's face it, you know, like you've been eating since you were a baby. Do you know what I mean? So you know all about nutrition, you know all about calories and macronutrients. You know what I mean? So, but now, you know, society tells me that I've got to have a little bit of paper saying that to tick off the boxes. So, but that being said, too, like I've also, I guess, linked arms with a health and wellness company. Do you know what I mean? And that's just, I guess, opened up my business to the next level as again. Do you know what I mean? So it's just been a great.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, let's go back to some. Let's keep going down the path of some nuggets of gold for the guys. What?
Yes.
And look, you probably. No, I'm going to go to this one because I think you've actually shared some of the key lessons from obviously when you first started to where you are now and what you've done and how you've opened your mind and, as you sort of mentioned, putting your ego in your pocket to go, okay, look, here's it's a different set of eyes and some different ideas. Let's put them in place, and that's helped you to obviously grow your business to the point that it is today. So I won't ask that question. I'll ask this one. What do you believe are the important skills that PTs need to possess right now in this very minute today in order to be successful?
Be a problem solver. Simple as that. You know what I mean? Your clients come to you with for various reasons. And to be quite honest, if they could do it on their own and do it better, they wouldn't come to you. You know what I mean? A lot of the times you are pretty much their last resort to them achieving their health goals, you know, whether it's fitness, strength, weight loss, you know what I mean? So you're the problem solver. Can you help everybody? No. Do you know what I mean? So I guess this is where you've got to work out who you are, what your niche is. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's, you know, we come from different backgrounds, different strengths, you know what I mean? Different sporting backgrounds. So, you know, we can't help every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. You know what I mean? So you got to pick your niche, and be a good listener. Do you know what I mean? It's not about you; it's about what they need and how you're going to help them achieve that. Do you know what I mean? So, and just be there for them when they need you. Because I was actually talking to one of the PTs where I train today or where I work at today, and I was like, you know what? We're not just PTs; we're also counselors. Do you know what I mean? Like,
PTs and baristas have definitely taken the place of hairdressers in the last 2 years. Definitely.
You know, like
great point. I think purely and simply based off the fact that most people don't get to their hairdresser for 8 weeks anymore.
100%.
And you go and see the barista and your PT at least, well, some baristas once a day, PT twice, 3 times a week.
Yep. You got to realize that your clients come to see you because, I mean, there's 7 days a week, right? I'm not good at math, so if somebody wants to work out how many hours that is in seven days, go right ahead. But
164.
There you go. So your clients come and see you, you know, anywhere between 1 to 3 times a week, average. There are clients that will come and see you more, but that's obviously because they can obviously financially afford that. Do you know what I mean? But let's say on an average, they come and see you anywhere between 1 to 3 times a week, right? Anywhere from, say, 30 minutes to an hour a session, depending on what you're doing with each other. So that's, you know, an average of, let's say, 3 hours a week. Now, 3 hours a week minus, you know, out of 164 hours a week, you know what I mean? Like,
we missed 4 hours, 168.
Okay, so, but that being said, though, bro, like, I mean, that 3 hours they see you in the week, you don't realize how much value they get out of that time with you. Do you know what I mean? And they implement that into their lifestyle. Now, understand not all clients will go and do it at 100%, but you know what? As long as they come and see you, you add value into the session, not just from a physical stance, but also, I guess, you teach them, you know, like how to make better choices. And I guess your job and your objective is to empower them, because when they leave you, you don't follow them, you don't feed them, you know, you don't dress them, you know what I mean? So it's up to them what they take from you in your session and implement those values that they've taken from you into their own lifestyle, and not just for themselves, but for their families, their friends, their work colleagues. You know, like when clients get amazing results, whether it's from a mental stance or a physical stance or both, they become raving fans, and they'll go and tell their friends. You know what I mean? Like, my trainer Bo did this with me and did that with me, and next thing you know, their friend Sally or their colleague John will say, "Oh, really? Maybe I need a bit of that as well. Maybe you should hook me up with your trainer." And for me, like, yes, it's all good that we can do these posts and these flyers and advertise ourselves, but you know what? Your clients are your biggest billboards.
Yeah.
If you give them a great experience and a great result, you know what I mean, and they enjoy your company, do you know what I mean? Because after 12 months, if you still have the same client after 12 months, it doesn't become about the result. It becomes about the relationship they have with you. Mm-hmm. So that becomes more value then,
So true. Great answer.
Did I answer your question?
Sorry. No, great answer on skills. Let's go to attitude.
Yes.
One key aspect, one key trait or attribute about their attitude. What's the key what's the key element to successful PTs' attitudes that you think is the driving force in making them the success that they are? And I know you possess it.
Yeah. Don't make the session about you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Make it about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Make them feel like they're the most important person in that 30 minutes, that 45 minutes, that hour that they spend with you. Okay. It's a one-on-one session, guys. Do you know what I mean? Treat it like a one-on-one session. Do you know what I mean? Like I see so many PTs, you know what I mean? Like they'll come in there with a coffee in their hand. And for me, that's unprofessional. Do you know what I mean? Like these guys are paying you, I don't know if it's $50, $60, $70, $80. I don't know what you charge, but they're paying you and investing in you for your time. So make it about them. Do you know what I mean? And yes, you can say hi to people around you, but don't drift off the session and go talk to someone else and leave your client there. Yes, if you've got to go somewhere, like, yes, and I do that. Like if I need to go to the toilet or if I need to go get some equipment for the client or whatever, I'll let them know. I'm just going to be duck away for a second. You keep doing your jump squats or your burpees or your plank. I wouldn't leave a client if they're doing an exercise that they need my help. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But, and you know what? Clients will accept that, but make it about them.
Yeah.
Don't make it about you and, everyone else around you.
Yeah. Love it. Now, one last one, buddy, before we let you go, because I know you're a busy man.
Yep.
If you were to give the guys just one piece of advice, just one, that they can take away today and that they've probably scribbled down on their page, and Tash probably taken a truckload of notes, what would that one nugget of gold be?
What's your purpose? Why are you really in this industry? That's it. What's your purpose?
Cool.
Who do you want to influence and why? Okay. So I ask every new fitness professional when they come in the industry, why do you want to be a PT? What is your purpose in doing this? And it's a question I think we need to question ourselves, you know what I mean? Because there's so many PTs out there, especially the young ones who come out of school and they think it's a great industry. And don't get me wrong, it is. Like the average lifespan of a fitness professional is 3 months. Mm-hmm. I've been in this for nearly a decade now, so I'm still here for a reason. Do you know what I mean? I knew what my purpose was. Like when I came to this industry, guys, like I knew I was going to enjoy it. I never realized I was going to love it. Do you know what I mean? So it's been the best occupation I've ever had, and it doesn't even feel like a job for me. Do you know what I mean? So, God, I'm getting paid for someone to do a bench press or a squat or a deadlift, which is something I do on my own as fun. I'm getting paid to just show someone how to do an exercise like that. You know what I mean?
Very true.
With my nutrition, I'm getting paid just for someone to show me, for me to show them what's the like good options on nutrition. You know what I mean? Why this is important to you, and etc. So, yeah, my question is, what's your purpose? Like, who do you want to influence and why?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Buddy, thanks so much for your time.
No, thanks for having me.
I know the guys, obviously, Paige and Tat. Guys, do you have any questions for Clint before we let him take off? It's okay if you don't. I know this is your guys' first time. That's okay. No, I know Paige and Tash are brand new. So, guys, no sweat. Obviously, we'll catch up during the week. I've got a couple of things for you guys too for starting out at PLC. But again, really appreciate your time. Some absolute nuggets of gold there. We might have to do this again very soon, hey?
Me, 100%. I love talking to the new PTs that come into the industry. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's a great industry. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I've been in it for quite a while, a few years now. I know a lot of people have been in it for much longer than me. Do you know what I mean? But you know, if you love it so much and you want to obviously make an impact in world health, then you're in a great industry. Great industry. So
awesome.
Otherwise, good luck with your careers, guys. And thanks for having me, Bo.
Pleasure, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.